have a whole bunch of fancy words that has no meaning. I think that good actions speak louder than words. And what should be happening, rather than you guys carrying on like this, running up and down and complaining, why don't you start building and encourage black people to stop destroying and let the world see that there's more to them than complaining about what somebody else is or not doing. And that's the role of the men. That's the role of the men, is to do rather than to just use a lot of fancy words. All you're doing is use a lot of fancy words.
You're talking about right
I'm talking
now,
to you.
Jesse.
You said a whole bunch of stuff and nobody know what you mean about it.
You must be talking about those other groups, because I said it once before. You must didn't hear me.
Where are you building homes?
People to unify. We are telling people to practice group economics.
Where are you building homes?
More gun sales in the last 3 months.
Where are you doing this? You're saying it. Where is it happening?
We've done more in 3 months.
Where?
Than some people in the civil rights movement did in the entire movement.
Where?
What do you mean where?
Where are you building?
The country. Statistics have shown that ever since we started the campaign, which began in Brunswick, since you didn't ask, which began in Brunswick with Ahmaud Arbery, ever since we started our campaign, gun sales and gun classes and gun certifications amongst black people are up 52%. That's something that's never been done before.
The last thing black people need right now is a gun.
They are inspired by the sight of watching, as you said, and I have to agree with you, when I see black people that are unorganized, that are a mob that's just complaining and don't have any plan, I'm right along with you. That is not what we're a part of. That's one of the reasons we came forward, just as you said, to be organized, to have a roadmap, to inspire, to educate, and then to be able to defend in the need that we have. If you notice, we've broken no laws. We've not killed one person. Not one person has been arrested. No property. We've done none of those things that these other people have done. We have presented a very sensible, logical, as you say, organized institution that has embraced everything that you said and have put those things out. But since we've only been on the stage in 3 months, even though in those 3 months we've built an international coalition and have gotten endorsements from other agencies around the globe, because we're doing just what you said. You see, we're the ones who are trying to do just what you said. We're trying to bring back the things you just talked about. But we've only been in existence 3 months. And in those 3 months, what have we done? We've done more to motivate, unify.
As followers of Christ, we are called to speak the truth, ladies and gentlemen. Yes, we are. Even when it's difficult or even uncomfortable, it doesn't matter. Jesus himself was not hated because he was unkind or unjust. No, it's because he spoke the truth that challenged the world's beliefs and systems. In John 15, verse 18, Jesus Christ, he told us, if the world hates you, keep in mind that it hated me first. This is a powerful reminder that we are not alone in facing rejection or persecution for standing up for what is right, ladies and gentlemen. Literally, Jesus experienced hatred, opposition because of the truth that he shared. Yes, and his followers too also face similar challenges. You see? So, however, we should not be discouraged. Never. Instead, we can find comfort in knowing that we are walking in his footsteps.
The black people in this country, and I can show you all the receipts you need, but if I don't know where you're looking, but by the way you started off this conversation, you haven't looked in the right place because you didn't even do your research on the NFAC.
Let me ask, as a man, and I find it really odd as a male, because I didn't grow up seeing this, it's odd to me to see black men begging for reparation and crying about systemic racism or blaming white people for their downfall. Normally, men overcome situations and the women and children follow. But the black men are acting just like the black women, and they're acting like the white man is smarter than them, that the white man can do better than them. So by complaining and blaming, you're hurting yourself rather than coming together as an American people.
I'm going to stop you right
and
now
put
because
forward that effort. It's not attractive to see men complain like that.
I'm going to do this one more time for you, and if you don't get this, we can end this interview. You're not listening. You keep saying the same thing over again, and I don't go in circles.
Do you feel normal? Does it feel right to be complaining?
No one's blaming.
You complain about systemic racism and you want reparations.
We're not begging for reparations.
You do want reparations.
What the steps are to get reparations. The steps to get reparations, and I've taught on this. You can't pay reparations to a color. You can only pay reparations to a country. I've already taught on this, that black people in this country need to stop asking for something that can't be paid to them in their current state. I've taught on this. I've told them that once you decide to declare yourself a sovereign, liberated country, then you can petition for reparations. So I'm not begging. We haven't begged for a damn thing because we haven't even taken the first step to put us in a position for black people to get reparations. So no one's begging. Additionally, there's been no downfall here. You've seen the NFAC. We're fully equipped. We're well dressed.
That's what throws me off. If you guys can dress up like that.
Veterans of this country, we are all people. We're not the people in the streets that you're talking about. We're the actual responsible homeowners, gun owners, and voters that got together under the Constitution and formed a militia to address what we saw happening to our community.
So
we're not complaining. We're not asking for anything. The people you're talking about are the people you see protesting in the streets right now. We don't protest. The people you're talking about are the ones out destroying, like Antifa and Black Lives Matter. We don't do that. The ones you're talking about are the ones who are running up on politicians but who never vote. You're not talking about us. We're the other side. I'm just like you, my friend. I'm almost 60 years old. I'm not a child at this, and I've been around this world for quite a few times.
But what you're missing, hold on.
We're not asking. We're not begging. We're actually taking the steps under the law that we can to move ourselves into a position to get the things that we can get for ourselves, even if it means going somewhere else to establish our own ethno nation, not here in the United States, but somewhere else where we've had a conversation with two countries willing to grant us sovereign land to grow our own country. That's our mission. Our mission is not to ask the white man for anything.
If you can't do it here, you won't be able to do it anywhere. Because there's no other country that's greater than America. But what I just want to say, when you're crying systemic racism and this and that and the white man this, you're feeding you're deceiving the people rather than helping them. But what I want to ask you. You guys are complaining about George Floyd and these black people who are getting killed or hurt by cops. You're not encouraging these people when the cops stop you. Follow the instructions. Don't run. Don't attack the cops. These people are putting their own lives on the line. But I never hear you people say that. You guys blame the cops.
First of all,
but you don't
I'm going to say
blame.
this one last time. I don't know who your producers are, but if you call me you people one more time, you are not going to have this conversation in person. I'm not you people.
Emotions being driven by deep feelings and personal attachments often resist the rational truth, sanity, ladies and gentlemen. I mean, emotions by their very nature. They can cloud judgment and lead us or a person to act impulsively or irrationally. Yeah, that's the truth. When we allow our emotions to guide our decision making, they can override our ability to think clearly and assess situations logically. That's the danger. In a godless society, this dynamic is even more evident. People spiritually disconnected from the truth of God can become blinded by their emotions and worldly perspectives. The absence of a strong moral foundation rooted in faith leads to a hardening of the heart. And without guidance of God's wisdom, ladies and gentlemen, and understanding, individuals may become increasingly resistant to the truth, unable to see beyond their emotions and biases, and their hearts will grow hardened when it is not softened by the transformative power of God's love, God's word. You see? And this will lead to spiritual blindness. Literally. Ladies and gentlemen, in a society individuals may become more consumed by their own feelings, whether anger, fear, or evil desires, rather than seeking clarity and wisdom that only logic and truth can provide. To sum up, the preaching of the gospel of Jesus Christ is an immensely positive and impactful act. It brings about personal transformation, spreads love, justice, hope, and truth. It aligns with God's commands, ladies and gentlemen. It offers eternal meaning, fills those who hear it with deep joy. Ultimately, it's the most precious gift humanity can receive, creating lasting change in both individuals and communities, reflecting God's heart and His purpose for the world, ladies and gentlemen. So, if you enjoyed this video, be sure to click on the next one. Don't forget to like, to comment, and to subscribe. I'll see you again next time. Bye bye for now.